you so intent looking at your face.
Right.
Listening carefully.
Right.
Neil, Shabbat Shalom.
All right, we ready?
Whenever you are. Modeh ani lefanecha, melech chai v'kayam, shehechazarta binishmati bechemla, rabba emunatecha. Modeh ana lefanayich, melech chai v'kayam, shechazarta binishmati bechemla, rabba emunateh, rabba emunatecha.
Hello and Shabbat Shalom, everybody.
Shabbat Shalom, Rabbi.
So nice to be with you on this fine Shabbat.
Certainly is.
Certainly is. Thank you. Nice. Good. Just to make sure that that is not Kendra Muchnick. That is
Never
Robin.
been.
That is Robin Kuda. Thank you,
Shabbat
Robin.
Shalom,
Thank you,
everyone.
Shabbat Shalom. Thank you for right. It's the similarities. Yeah. I often think that we look the same too because our height's the same and we sing so similarly. So I really think that
If you were in this chair,
if I was in that chair, people would be like, oh my gosh, I'm confused. Particularly because if I was singing, absolutely.
particularly.
I sang nicely last night. Were you on mute? Was you muted? And then if you were muted, then you'd be like, this was amazing. Yeah, thank you. That's very nice. Yeah, I can't carry the tune, can't carry the piano, but it's fine. It was good. It was okay. I think the words of Torah were from the service were better from Rabbi Khan, I think, than any singing. But yes, so Rabbi Khan's sitting right here too. By the way, if you can't see her in the live stream, she's sitting right here. So hi.
Shabbat Shalom, Rabbi Khan.
Hi. So yes. So she'll be. She'll probably have some questions and comments and suggestions for us, particularly during Torah study. But see, I know this much comedy. I know it's true. It's true, or something. I don't know.
Donkey comedy is the
Yes.
best.
Yes. Exactly.
Good stuff.
For those of you in our live stream, I hope it's working. I hope you can see us. It seems on our end it looks like it's working. So I'm hoping that it's on and you can see us. I think it's working. And if you are joining us virtually for the first time and you'd like a prayer book, you can go and get our virtual prayer book. It's on cbiboca.org. That is our website. Top left corner, hit the word menu. Then below menu, there are services. Right after services, you'll see a great photo of the Regal Hops. Right at the top of the page. And then below that is a great picture of the cantor Muchnick. And right by his picture, there's a little button that you can press that takes you to our virtual prayer book, and you can chant along and sing along and be with us throughout the service this morning. And those of us here, hi, again. All right, excellent. We are going to, we started with a little Modeh Ani. Sometimes we alternate Modeh Ani and Matovu, but today, can we do Matovu also? I feel like today we have to do Matovu.
We have to do
Matovu today. We must do Matovu today, and then we'll talk about why. We are on page 172.
Matovu, Ohalecha Yaakov, Ohalecha Yaakov, Mishkenotecha Yisrael. Matovu, Ohalecha Yaakov, Ohalecha Yaakov, Mishkenotecha Yisrael. Lecha B'yiratecha Ma tovu Ohalecha Yaakov Ohalecha Yaakov Mishkenotecha Yisrael Ma tovu Ohalecha Yaakov Ohalecha Yaakov Mishkenotecha Yisrael.
We continue with our Nisim B'chol Yom, our daily blessings and miracles, page 175.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher natan lasaviv lahavchin bein yom uvein laila.
Amen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam pokeach ivrim.
Amen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam matir asurim.
Amen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam zokef kefufim.
Amen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam rokaretz al hamayim.
Amen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam hamechin mitzadei gaver.
Amen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam malbish arumim.
Amen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam hanoten laya'ef koach.
Amen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam hama'avir sheina me'enai utnuma me'afapai.
Amen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam she'asani b'tzelem Elohim.
Amen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam she'asani bat chorim.
Amen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam she'asani Yisrael.
Amen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam ozer Yisrael bigvura.
Amen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam oter Yisrael b'tifara.
Amen.
Sukkot Zimra, our daily blessing, our section of Psalms that we get to dive into every morning, but particularly on Shabbat morning, connecting us to the beauty and connection we have with God and the world. Sukkot Zimra 183.
Baruch Shema v'haya ha'olam.
Baruch Hu.
Baruch Oseh v'reshit.
Baruch Omer ve'oseh.
Baruch Gozer Mekayim.
Baruch merachem al haaretz.
Baruch merachem al habriot.
Baruch meshalem sachar tov lireyav.
Baruch Chai la'ad v'kayim la'netzach.
Baruch podeh umatzil, Baruch Shemo.
Blessed is the one who spoke and the world came to be.
Blessed is the one.
Blessed is the one who continually authors creation.
Blessed is the one whose word is deed.
Blessed is the one who decrees and fulfills.
Blessed is the one who is compassionate towards the world.
Blessed is the one who is compassionate towards all creatures.
Blessed is the one who rewards the reverent.
Blessed is the one who exists for all time, ever enduring. This is the one who redeems and saves. Blessed is God's name. With songs of praise we extol you and proclaim your sovereignty. For you are the source of life in the universe. One God, life of the universe, praised and glorious ruler. Your name is eternal. Baruch atah Adonai, melech mehulal
v'tishbachot. Well, when you're here, I love when you do a little smilo.
I would
you
love
do
to
a little
do
smilo?
Smilo. I'm sorry. We'll do a little smilo.
Yeah? All right.
We'll
Great.
smile while we
Just
smile.
a little smilo. So what we're going to do is just the top paragraph of Ashrei, page 185.
Ashrei yoshvei veitecha, oje halelucha sela. Ashrei yoshvei veitecha, oje halelucha sela. Ashrei, ashrei, ashrei yoshvei veitecha. Ashrei, 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 Yoshvei Beitecha. Happy are those who dwell in your house. They will sing your praises forever. Happy are those who dwell in your house. They will sing your praises forever. Ashrei Yoshvei Beitecha. Ojer Hallelujah Selah. Ashrei Yoshvei Beitecha. Ojer Hallelujah Selah.
That's fun.
Love Smilo.
Fun with a little smilo. We'll continue with Shochen Ad, right in the middle of page 192.
Shochen ad maharom v'kadosh shemo v'chatuv raininut tzadikim baronai laisharim nevat tehila b'fi yesharim titalal uv'divrei tzadikim titbarach ulvilshon chasidim titromam uvekerev kedoshim titkadash uv'machalot revivot Amcha Beit Yisrael, B'rina Yitpar Shimcha Malkeinu, B'chol dor v'dor. Yishtabach Shimcha La'ad Malkeinu, Ha'el HaMelech HaGadol, V'HaKadosh B'Shamayim u'Ba'aretz, Baruch Atah Adonai, El Melech Gadol B'Tishpachot, El Ha'od Adon HaNiflaot, Habocher B'Shirei Zimra, Melech Elchei HaOlamim. Yitgadal v'yitkadash shemei rabbah.
Amen.
V'yalmad yivarach yirutei v'yamlich malchutei. B'chayechon u'v'yamechon v'chayir chol Beit Yisrael. B'agalah u'v'izman korriv v'imru amen. Yehei shemei rabbah mevarach le'olam u'lamei almaya. Yitbarak v'yishtabak v'yitbar v'yitraman v'yitnaseh v'yitadar v'yitalev v'yitalal shemei dekodesha brichu le'elamin kol birachata v'shirata tushbechata v'nechemata damiran b'alma v'yemeru amen.
Stand for the Baruch Hu 195.
La 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 Baruch Hu et Adonai Hamevorach Hamevorach Baruch Adonai Hamevorach Leolam Leolam Vaed. Praise Adonai, to whom our praise is due. Praise Adonai, to whom our praise is due. Praise Adonai, to whom our praise is due. Now and forever. Oh, la 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 la.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam yotzero v'oreh choshech oseh shalom u'boreh et hakol. Please be seated. We continue Do a little ahava rabbah. You feel like a little ahava?
Oh,
Sure. Yeah.
love a little
sure.
havrabah.
Great, okay, great.
They all go together.
So that's on 198.
Ahava harabah ahavtanu Adonai Eloheinu Chem lagedola v'tera Chamalta aleinu Ba'avor avotenu ve'imotenu Shebatchu v'cha Ve'lamdem chukei chayim Ve'ha'erenenu b'toratecha Ve'dabek libeinu b'mitzvotecha Ve'yachel levavenu Le'ahava u'yirah et shemecha Ve'lo nivosh ve'lo nikalem Ve'lo nikashel le'olam va'ed Ve'lo nivosh ve'lo nikalem Ve'lo nikashel le'olam va'ed Ki b'shem kodshecha Hagadol ve'hanora b'atachnu Nagila v'nismecha Nagila v'nismecha v'yeshuatecha Baruch atah Adonai Habocher be'amo Yisrael B'ahava Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Le'olam Va'ed
201.
ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך ושיננתם לבניך ודיברת בם בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ובשוכבך ובקומך וקשרתם לאות על ידך והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך.
202.
ויאמר אדוני אל משה לאמור דבר אל בני ישראל ואמרת עליהם ועשו להם ציצית על כנפי בגדיהם לדורותם ונתנו על ציצית הכנף פתיל תכלת והיה לכם לציצית וריתם אותו וזכרתם את כל מצוות אדוני ועשיתם אותם ולא תטורו אחרי לבבכם ואחרי עיניכם אשר אתם זונים אחריהם למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם אני אדוני אלוהיכם אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים להיות לכם לאלוהים אני אדוני אלוהיכם.
אלוהיכם אמת. We continue with our Song of Redemption, Mi Chamocha, page 204.
Mi chamocha ba'elim Adonai, mi kamocha nehedar b'kodesh. Nora tehilot, oseh fele, nora tehilot, oseh fele. Shirach chorisha, shibchu geulim, leshimcha al safat hayam, yachad kulam hodu, v'him lechu ve'ameru. Adonai yimloch leolam va'ed, Adonai yimloch leolam va'ed. Tzur Yisrael, Kuma ve'ezrat Yisrael, Ufdechinu mecha, Yehuda ve'Yisrael. Go aleinu, Adonai tzvaot shemo, Kedosh Yisrael, Baruch atah Adonai, Gal Yisrael.
Amidah 205.
Adonai sifatai tiftach ufi agita hilatecha. Adonai, open up my lips that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu, v'Elohei avotenu v'imotenu, Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzchak, v'Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, v'Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol, Hagibor v'Hanora, El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim, V'Koneh HaKol, V'Zocher Chastei Avot V'Imahot, Umevi Gula Livnei B'neihem, L'ma'an Shemo B'Yahava, Melech Ozer U'Moshia U'Magen, Baruch atah Adonai, Magen Avraham, V'Ezrat Sarah, Atah Gibor Leolam Adonai, Mechaye HaKol Atarav Lehoshia, Morid Hatal, Mechalkel Chaim Bechesed, Mechaye HaKol berachamim rabim, Sohomech noflim verofei cholim, Umatir asurim, Umekayem emunato lishenei afar, Michamocha bal gevurot, Umido melach, Melech meimid u'mechayeh u'matzmiach Yeshua v'ne'eman atah lehachayot hakol Baruch atah Adonai mechayeh hakol.
We continue with the Kedusha 208.
Nekadesh et shimcha ba'olam, Keshem shimakti shimo, Tobi shmei marom, Kakatuv al yad neviecha, Vikarav ze el ze ve'amar, Kadosh, 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 Adonai Tzevaot, Meloch ol haaretz, Kevodo, Adir, Adirenu, Adonai, Adonenu, Madir, Shimcha bechol haaretz, Baruch Kevod Adonai, Mimkomo, Echadu Eloheinu, Hu Avinu, Hu Malkeinu, Hu Moshienu, Vehu Yashmienu, Berachamav Leinei Kochai, Ani Adonai Elohechem, Yimloch Adonai leolam, Elohai Yitzion, ledor vador. Hallelujah. Ledor vador. Ledor vador. Ledor vador nagid God lecha. Ledor vador. Ledor vador. Ledor vador nagid God lecha. Ulenetzach nitzachim kedushatcha nakdish. Kedushatcha nakdish. V'shivchacha Eloheinu mihipinu lo yamush leolam va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai ha'el hakadosh.
We continue silently now, beginning here on page 210 through page 219. And when you're finished, please be seated.
Say shalom bimromav, hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'al kol yoshvei tevel, ve'imru, Say shalom bimromav, hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'al kol yoshvei tevel, ve'imru, amen. La 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la. Oh, say shalom bimroma, hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'al kol yoshvei tevel, ve'imru, amen.
We are going to continue now with Seder Kriyat HaTorah, the service for reading the Torah, which can be found on page 244.
Ein kamocha b'Elohim Adonai, ve'ein k'ma'asecha, malchutecha malchut kol olamim, u'memshaltecha b'chol dor v'dor. Adonai melech, Adonai malach, Adonai yimloch leolam v'hed, Adonai oz le'amo yitain, Adonai yivarech et amo v'shalom.
Please stand.
Av harachamim heitiva bertzoncha et Zion tivnei chomot Yerushalayim ki v'echad levad batachnu melech el ram v'nisa adon olamim
246.
Ki mitzion tetzei Torah, Ki mitzion tetzei Torah, Udevar Adonai miYerushalayim.
248.
Baruch Shenatan Torah, Torah, Baruch Shenatan Torah, Torah, Le'amo Yisrael B'Kedushato. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad Echad Eloheinu Gadol Adonenu Kadosh Shemo Gadlu Adonai iti Uneramema Shemo Yachdav.
Please be seated. Do you want to do Torah first? Yeah? No? Want to do it after? Okay, great. Great, okay, great. Okay, no problem. All right. Okay, we are going to get the Zoom on. We'll get the Zoom going. It's asking for it? Hold on, let me see. Like in the days of old, got to get the Zoom working. Oh, it turned out. Oh, here it is. CBI. There we go. Start. And then, it's too bad. It's just too bad. And then video should switch on to this. Hey, there we go. All right, and then people should start to populate. So there's all right, great. And there's just regular Zoom now. Is it working? People are populating? Populating? Great. All right. Well, hello. Again, and still Shabbat Shalom. As people sort of climb into the Zoom room, we have a few, some, two, great, okay, excellent.
And we're happy to have you.
Yes, we are happy to have you. Yes, hello. Who's on? Who's on with us?
Gail and Barry.
Hello.
Shabbos.
Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom. Yes. All right, we're on the Torah portion of Balak, is where we are, which is in the book of Numbers. It's chapter 22:2. 22:2. I don't know what Harry just said, but it is Numbers 22:2. 22:2. I keep hearing like something. There's like a buzz over there, but I'm not sure what it is. But I don't know what he's saying. I'm not sure. So 22:2 is where we are. You can go to Numbers and then go to the 22nd chapter and then go to verse 2. You could also go to Deuteronomy and then go backwards if you want to. You could start at Genesis and then go through Genesis, Exodus, Leviticus, and then all of Numbers, and then get to the spot. It should take you a little while, but you could if you wanted to. You could, but not in my book, because then it's very confusing. What if the people on the Zoom have different books? I don't know. You still have to be able to go to 22:2 in the book of Numbers, or you go to 22:2, by the way, in the book of Bamidbar. Both would be the same, because Bamidbar is the same as Numbers. I'm just putting it out for everybody, just for clarification purposes. All right. So last week was the Torah portion of Chukat, and I think you were here with Rabbi Silvers, so I'm not sure what he discussed, but at least from my perspective, Chukat is a very complicated and quite sad Torah portion, because it's a rough Torah portion for Moses, because his sister dies, his brother dies, and he finds out he's not entering the land of Israel. So it's a pretty rough Torah portion for him last week. And so it's interesting that right from that difficulty and the challenge, we just jump into this interesting story about a guy named Balak. So that's what we're going to be doing today. But before we do that, let's say the blessing. So Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kitshanu mitzvotav v'tzivanu la'asok b'divrei Torah. Okay, so there's a guy named Balak, and there are a few Torah portions that are named after people. He's one of them. Balak is the king of Moab. Yes, he's the king of Moab. And so it's interesting, and we'll discuss why the Torah portion is called Balak, particularly because we meet another character, and he's probably should be more famous than Balak is. So we'll talk about it. Yes, good. Ready for Balak? All right. You ready for Balak? Yes. All right. Thanks, Linda.
Balak, son of Zippor, saw all that Israel had done to the Amorites. Moab was alarmed because that people was so numerous. Moab dreaded the Israelites, and Moab said to the elders of Midian, "Now this horde will lick clean all that is about us as an ox licks up the grass of the field." Balak, son of Zippor, who was king of Moab at the time, sent messengers to Bilaam, son of Beor in Pethor, which is by the Euphrates, in the land of his kinfolk, to invite him, saying, "There is a people that came out of Egypt. It hides the earth from view, and it is settled next to me. Come then, put a curse upon this people for me, since they are too numerous for me. Perhaps I can thus defeat them and drive them out of the land. For I know that he whom you bless is blessed indeed, and he whom you curse is cursed."
Okay, thank you. So what do we know so far about anything about this Torah portion? Anything? Go ahead, shout it out. The people of Israel are numerous. Yes. How do we know that? It says so. Good. Okay. Excellent. Good. It says so. It actually says it's beautifully written, right? I mean, Torah is good. That the people they hide the earth from view. So it's a lot of people. How many people are we talking about? Ish. How many people are we talking about? Ish. What? How much? Yeah. It's exactly. It's about 1,200,000. That's probably the amount of people that are sitting there, which is a lot of people. It's a lot of people. So often we talk about that number, like in religious school. I talk about have you been to a stadium, for instance? Stadium seems big. It's a lot of people. You have to enter and exit. It takes a long time. Your cars get stuck. It's a long. That's only 80,000, 70, 60,000, 70,000, 80,000. Think of what 1.5 million people look like wandering in the desert. Yes, I think Dr. Bob and then Harry. Yeah. Nice. Okay, so what Dr. Bob said, I'm repeating for people on the Zoom. What Dr. Bob said was that, and you'll tell me if I'm right, that it's surprising that Balak doesn't go any further to do any other further research, doesn't reach out himself to the Israelites, doesn't have any sort of dialogue with anybody. He just decides the best way to move forward is to put a curse on them and to get a hold of this guy Bilaam. It just doesn't. There's no conversing. Gail, yes.
Just spinning off that, he's in fear of the Israelites.
Yes, there's a fear there. Yes. How do you know how do you know that? Yeah, good. It says so. Good. Yeah, it says he was alarmed. He says he was alarmed. So he's definitely scared. Excellent. Thank you. Harry, yeah. Okay.
So by being defensive, he's recognizing what he's dealing with, and that may be part of what comes in the future. But I'm a big proponent of being defensive to be offensive.
So you think Balak? So all right. So what Harry just said is that that maybe the best offense is the best offense is a really good defense. It does. I agree with that. Actually, I support the fact that defense wins championships. Not just in the Torah, but also in general. But we're not playing basketball or football.
The fact is that he didn't know for sure that the Israelites were going to attack him. They saw them attack somebody else.
Right.
And just assumed, without reaching out, really would not have been a big deal to send an ambassador.
Right. That's true. Right. So Balak really doesn't know the intentions of the Israelites in regards to Moab. He does see that the Amorites got beat up, but there's nothing that says that the Israelites are coming after the Moabites. In fact, the Moabites are one of the most important people in all of the line for us in Judaism, because who's a Moabite? Who's a Moabite future? Who's the future Moabite? Who? Ruth. Ruth is a Moabite. So if we don't have Ruth, we don't have David. So if we don't have David, then we don't have the Messiah, right? So, but we need Ruth. We love Ruth. Ruth's the best, right? So, and she's a Moabite. So we obviously need Moab in the story, and so it's interesting, particularly, right? Why suddenly does Balak think he just should attack them, or find a way to attack them, or undermine them before they attack them? Yeah.
Before I comment on further, we don't agree on this position, but I don't want to be obnoxious.
Did you say you don't want to be obnoxious about it because he's wrong? Is that what you said, Harry? Great. That's good. I have to say that sometimes, not all the time. You remind me sometimes, the two of you, of Waldorf and Statler. You know who they are, the Muppets in the balcony. But usually they get along, and now you're arguing, and now it's even better. Now it's even like a better Muppet moment, and I'm so excited about it. No, I love it. This is good. Yeah, Harry. Yeah. Yeah. Sent messengers of Balaam, son of Beor in Peor. Oh, are you saying is Bilaam are Bilaam and Balak related? I don't know. I don't know. It's possible, which makes sense that he would call up his cousin, who's a sorcerer. Were you all right? Great. Oh, I don't know where to go with that one. I'm a loss for that particular response. Okay. Yes. Save us, Bob. Interesting. All right. So what Bob is saying is the detail in the text is showing us that it's not necessarily Balak initially that's nervous. It's the people of Moab that are nervous. We are introduced to Balak first, right, as the first line, but it is the people of Moab who are the ones who are a little bit who are nervous about this. So it's interesting how then a leader responds if the people are nervous. Rabbi, go ahead.
No, I just think the way it's set up, that Balak is leading the nervousness, that the people seem to be feeding off of Balak, saw what happened to the Ammonites, and yes, xenophobia is real, and people would have been scared no matter what, but I think a leader sets a tone.
Interesting. So what Rabbi Khan is saying is that it's Balak who even starts to set the tone for the nervousness for his people. Right, that maybe the Moabites would have been less concerned, but because he seems so concerned, if your leader's concerned, then obviously you look to your leader and you think, oh, well, the leader's concerned, that I should be concerned too. Maybe the Moabites had no clue about the Israelites. Maybe the Moabites were just like, maybe they were totally fine, but when they start to notice their leader is really nervous, then they're like, well, wait a second, maybe we should be nervous about these people. If Balak is nervous. So, okay, lots of different nuances and different angles for now. Why is he nervous? Let's look at that for a second. Why is Balak nervous? Okay, so he hears, right? He has to. There's no internet, right? So this has to be this long period of time that travels. Don't forget, we're traveling in the desert. They're in the desert. They're in the middle of nowhere. They're literally in nowhere. So the news is traveling, apparently, in settlements and other groups that there is this large group of the Israelites. And going back to the offense or the defense, maybe they don't know if the Israelites are on the offensive or are they defensive, right? They don't know. Yeah. They also don't know if the Israelites, right? To them, they don't hear the kvetching and the complaining for the Israelites. They just know that there's a 1.2 million people who are walking around. That's a large amount of people. So I don't think they probably know a little bit about the Israelites, because in some instances and back in Exodus, there were comments about they heard about the miracles that were happening. So it's possible that people were hearing things, just like whatever hearsay we have now. You know, we have the internet for that, for hearsay and for news. They had their own version of it. So, yep.
Going back to the point in time, like this is 1300 BC, roughly.
Okay.
And Balak had fought battles with all kinds of tribes around him to hold them all together as one.
Yeah.
So his state of mind is absolute power is what's going to be able to hold them like that together and keep somebody from taking away from them.
Nice.
Huge power coming from the Israelites. We can't hold all this together, and if he starts getting one or two of these other tribes together, they're all going to come apart. So
Nice.
and that's why I said respectfully the Bible is wrong, because the guy's mindset is totally upon me. I conquer everything because I go into a bigger power than they've got. Now somebody's coming at me with bigger power.
Nice. Okay. So what if you didn't hear? Harry mentioned this idea of power and power in leadership, right? So what's usually the thing that frightens a leader the most? Losing their power. So it seems that particularly when it comes to Balak, he's one of those regular old leaders that rules by his power. However, whatever that power is that he rules in, maybe it's fear, right? It's possible, but that's how he rules. And because he rules that way, now he's nervous because there's a larger group of people that beat up the Amorites. And we don't, by the way, know what they have with the Amorites or not, if they won or they lost. So it's presumably that they were impressed that the Israelites defeated the Amorites. So right, so there's a nervous leader, clearly, who's nervous about losing his power, and then as Rabbi Khan said, maybe that's transferred, or Bob and Rabbi Khan put together that maybe it's transferred then to the people. So now you have nervous people because of a nervous king. Yeah. How many Moabites there were? I don't know. That answer is findable. I don't know that number. I'm sure. But what's that? 430,000. You made that up? I know. That is not the number. I was like, I don't recall that number anywhere in the text, but yes. But it's findable. That's findable. Yeah. Okay. So we'll ask Harry to check on that for us. Yes, Dr. Bob. Yeah. I have to say, but I'm not even worried about the Amorites, the Israelites, and the Moabites. I'm more nervous about what's about to happen here. Yeah.
We've got a warrior culture. We've probably got Bilaam is probably a tough guy.
Oh, I'm sure he's a tough guy.
This is a very cowardly thing for a tough guy to do.
Yeah.
To at least, I'm still saying the most normal thing for somebody in this position to do would be to send emissaries. To send an ambassador and see, hey, what's the deal, guys?
So whether or not,
Passing by, because didn't they kill the Amorites because they refused to allow them to transit?
yeah.
So maybe he could have made a deal.
So it's interesting. I'm not sure about the necessity of sending the emissaries. I am intrigued by the comment that he should have not needed Bilaam. I think that's the question. Doesn't need Bilaam. Why does Balak need Bilaam? He's obviously, there's something going on with him because he's been winning everywhere else. So why suddenly does he need a sorcerer to curse them before he even starts to attack them? Why does he need that? There's obviously something going on with him. That's the larger question I think that we think about. By the way, and the commentary goes nuts on why is the Torah portion called Bilaam? It should be called Bilaam. Why is it called Balak? Because we really don't hear much about Balak at all. We get the introduction, and then the rest of the Torah portion is about Bilaam. And by the way, it's Bilaam that we need for liturgy, which we'll talk about why we talk about Matovu in a few minutes. So he's the main figure. The Torah portion should be called Bilaam or something else, but which is also weird that why these figures who were out to get Israel get a name of a Torah portion is also a conversation. Not for now, but yes. I asked 4 questions. I ask questions all the time. I'm a rabbi. I was born to ask questions. I was taught in school to ask questions. Oh, good. Yes. I need popcorn for this. Watch this. Yes. Whose motivation? Balak's motivation is? Okay, fine. Greed, fine.
So he also realizes that in wartime, you want to have absolute power.
Okay, fine. In wartime, you want to have absolute.
Numerically, because it's 430.
Right, okay.
We know that he doesn't have the power or resources that's coming at him from Israel. So what he's looking at from the Israeli people. So he's looking at what can I do to get this power? And that's why he's going to get Bilaam to give him the overwhelming power he needs to be able to face it. So that he then can negotiate from strength and not weakness.
Okay, so you're thinking it's not a weak call on his part to get Bilaam, it's a strength call. It's a clever call. It's a clever call because particularly for a people, okay, it's interesting, particularly for a people who lives on the fact of idol worship and sorcery and all those things. So if you live in that kind of that world and now you bring a sorcerer in, that is empowering, right? Because if I live in a world of sorcery and I'm telling you I'm going to get the the best sorcerer, because he's the best known sorcerer, right? Now we're talking. Now I'm going to really think that there's strength. That's kind of your point, to say like the strength is coming from the sorcery, not the weakness, to say why does he need a sorcerer? You're saying he's brilliant to take on the sorcerer. He's being resourceful. Okay. Fine. Okay. So I definitely agree with that. What's that? Right. It's also can be it could be spirituality for him, because this is his spirit. This is how he functions. This is how he prays. This is how he thinks. Right. He thinks through sorcery. We don't think through that. But
and remember, his state of mind is I've got people. I've taken over other people. I've accumulated this wealth and all this power by taking over people. Now I got somebody coming and take me over.
okay.
So his state of mind is what he would be doing if he was them, and how he's going to counteract it.
Okay. So what you have been saying, Harry, is that he's coming from he's come from power, he's seeking power, and he's going to really do whatever it takes for him to take that power in that forceful way, whether it's through sorcery or force or numbers. And there's a nuance I think differently from certain other people, that maybe he's actually pointing out there's a weakness for him, because why does he need a sorcerer if he's such a big bad force of the Moabites and the king? Yes. What are you going to say?
I was just noticing that there was a question about whether Balak was related to Bilaam.
Yes.
And it says in verse 5 that he turned to Balaam, in the land of his kinsfolk, to invite him.
Oh, okay. So there could be a relation, because it's in the land of the kinsfolk. There's some distant relation. Okay. Nice. Okay. Yes.
I found it interesting because in the book of Exodus, we hear the first Pharaoh say he's worried about these people with numerous.
Yeah. Great.
It's almost the same.
It's nice. So there's an interesting and scary parallel, right? That in the book of Exodus, that Pharaoh gets nervous because of the sheer number of the Israelites. And that's when he says we should enslave them, right? That's the whole beginning. That's that terrifying beginning of the book of Exodus, right? And then you get that extra sentence that says they don't know Joseph, and then you're like, oh, that's right. That's when all the problems begin. So interesting, right? So there's also the concept of when Jacob is on the run from Esau, and he sees a bunch of people coming towards him, and he presumes that there's an army coming towards him. So there are all these presumptions throughout text where if you have a lot of people who are together, they're stronger than you and they're going to beat you, right? And so that's perhaps why Balak is nervous, and that's why he tries to get a hold of Bilaam. Okay, good. I think that we've sufficiently covered that section up, I think. Okay. Let's read a little bit more in that same spot. We're on 7, aren't we?
Yes.
7. Okay, we're on 7.
The elders of Moab and the elders of Midian, versed in divination, set out. They came to Bilaam and gave him Balaam's message. He said to them, "Spend the night here, and I shall reply to you as the Eternal may instruct me." So the Moabite dignitaries stayed with Bilaam.
Okay, so now suddenly there's another group. Who's hanging out now with the Moabites? The Midianites. So now all the ites show up. So now we have the elders of the Moabites and the elders of the Midianites, and now they're all together because they all practice divination of some kind, right? Now they're all going to seek out Bilaam. So what do they do with Bilaam?
God came to Bilaam and said, "What do these envoys want of you?" Bilaam said to God, "Balak, son of Zippor, king of Moab, sent me this message. Here is a people that came out from Egypt and hides the earth from view. Come now and curse them for me. Perhaps I can engage them in battle and drive them off." But God said to Bilaam, "Do not go with them. You must not curse that people, for they are blessed."
Okay, so what just happened? Yeah, exactly. So what's going on here? So what just happened? What just happened here in verse 9? What just happened in verse 9? Well, that's God. It's God. It's like God. It's definitely God talking. You think Bilaam's negotiating for money? Not yet. Not yet. So what's this? So God comes to Bilaam, right? God comes to Bilaam and says, so that means just God's just hanging around, right? Clearly, because God does that.
We're talking to some nobody.
What's that? It's not a different God. It's God. Capital G God.
But he says to the dignitaries he's going to ask God for guidance.
Who does? Yeah. There's a dialogue that's happening. I'm asking, where does God come from?
As the eternal thing.
The eternal, as in God. God. This is God. We are talking about God. Vayavo Elohim, like Elohim, like God. This is not some other God. Capital G, O-D. Yes, Rabbi?
This is one of a few instances in our text that show that there are ways that are different than Jewish ways that can connect with God and spirituality and the supernatural. And even though we're taught not to do it, we are given the impression that it can be done, that there are people with these abilities, and that it is real.
Nice. Yes. So what Rabbi Khan said is that there are times throughout the text that there are people other than the Israelites who are connecting with God in some way, whether God reaches out in some way or they have an ability to connect to God. Who's another very popular one that we know and love very much? Also, there's named after him. His one name that was a Torah portion named after him. Well, no, I would take Noach. I would take Noach actually because he's not really Jewish yet, right? But I'll take Noach. I'll take Noach as a second answer. There's a better answer. Who is that guy? He's super Starts with a Y. Yitro. Yitro wasn't a Jew. He wasn't an Israelite, and yet he connects in some way, and he changes the whole trajectory of what's going on with Moses, because he comes to Moses and says, "What are you doing?" Right? He changes the whole thing. He creates all the different systems and classes and all that stuff in the desert because Moses is overwhelmed. So yes, so there are instances where there are these interesting dialogues that happen between people other than just Moses and God, and here's one, and clearly one who is interested in listening to God. So Bilaam is not opposed to listening to God, right? Because God comes to Bilaam, and God says, "All right, talk to me. What do they want?" Right? So what does Bilaam say?
I shall return to you as eternally instructed.
Yeah. So Bilaam says, "I'll follow whatever you're saying. That's cool with me. It's fine. I'm listening." Okay. So now we're on 13.
Bilaam arose in the morning and said to Balak's dignitaries, "Go back to your own country, for the Eternal will not let me go with you." The Moabite dignitaries left, and they came to Balak and said, "Balaam refused to come with us."
Okay. So what happened here?
Balak asked for a favor from a relative.
Yeah.
It's denied.
Yeah. Right. And why does Bilaam say no? Because God says so. Because God says so, and so he gets up and he says, you know what? No thanks. Midianites, great to see you. Moabites, great to see you guys. No. Okay. And so the people come back and they tell Balak, he said no. Okay, keep going.
Then Balak sent other dignitaries, more numerous and distinguished than the first. They came to Balaam and said to him, "Thus says Balak, son of Zippor, please do not refuse to come to me. I will reward you richly, and I will do anything you ask of me. Only come and damn this people for me." Balaam replied to Balak's officials, "Though Balak were to give me his house full of silver and gold, I could not do anything, big or little, contrary to the command of the Eternal my God. So you too stay here overnight and let me find out what else the Eternal may say to me."
Okay. What is going on?
He's talking like he's an Israelite.
He's talking like an Israelite. Right? He's like, I'm not wavering. This is even better than some Israelites. Right? He's even easier going than the Israelites are. The Israelites are like, I'm whining, I'm hungry, I'm thirsty, I'm tired. Well, you take me out of Egypt, there were cucumbers there. What is it, right? But here, the sorcerer is just saying, you know what? No amount of gold or silver that you give me is going to convince me. Someone want to say, yeah, go ahead. Who's on there? Gail, go ahead.
He realizes that he can't go against God, but yet he continues to try to negotiate and have God change his mind.
Interesting. So maybe, and this connects, I think, to a little bit what Rabbi Kahn was saying, that Bilaam is really an incredibly fabulous sorcerer who is so connected to himself and understands that there is a level of sorcery and then there's a level of above sorcery, that maybe there's an appreciation for God. Maybe he's not a follower of God, but because of the fact of he understands himself and his power and his sorcery to a level that he understands that there's a limit to that power and that there's God. And he appreciates that and thinks, I'm not going against this God because I get the concept so well that I'm not going to go against this God, that like God, because I'm not doing it. So yeah.
I'm surprised that the Israelites nobody's objecting to the fact that he's saying that this is my God, and the Israelites no, this is our God.
Well, he's taking it on. I think it's okay for him to feel that way. Look, people make the decision that they want to make our God their God all the time, and that actually connects beautifully to Ruth. So, right, that's the idea of why someone might decide to become a Jew by choice, that you wake up one morning and you think, I would like to make your people my people, and that's okay. So, yeah. Yeah, Dr. Bob. God. Just to be clear, I'm doing God for clarity. Well, because he is a sorcerer, because I think that I'm not sure he's getting his power from God. I think that he just has an appreciation for the power of God and also has a power unto himself. I don't think that he thinks that his power is coming from God. I think he's communicating with God. I think that we can also say that we can take on a power from God, that we're communicating with God. I don't think that he thinks, I don't think that he thinks that his power is God's power. I don't think so. I think that he has a clear delineation, by the way, up until the next two verses. Then it gets messed up for him. But up until the next two verses, I think he has a very clear delineation of where he's at, where God's at, and the appreciation he has for God. But I think there's a pretty clear line for him up until in a minute, where it gets blurry and really weird. But yeah. Yes, Rabbi?
This is not a rabbinic comment, but more of a pop culture comment.
Okay.
But I think one of the great ways of
This is a Samantha comment, not a Rabbi Kahn comment. I understand. Okay, great.
But if anyone watched Game of Thrones,
Game of Thrones fans? We're doing a Game of Thrones clip.
So there were a number of different times throughout the show where there were sorcerers and magicians and people with power, but before and after they did things, they would also offer their own sacrifices and pray to be, and there was kind of this under narrative of whose God was the better God. And so there's this like understanding that even if you can mess with the world, even if you have these magical sorcery powers, no matter what, if you're really connected, there's something above you that you're trying to connect to and offer. So I think that's a good way of understanding.
Yeah, it's nice.
This character.
Yeah. I think he understood his place in the world really, really well. And he was comfortable at his level of own sorcery which is why I think he was so strong to push back on the Midianites and on the Moabites, up until right now, which is odd. Yes?
Well, I think that just like Balak saw that the Israelites had destroyed the Amorites, I'm sure that Balaam saw the power that the Israelite people and the strength of their armies, that if God is with them, maybe maybe there's something to that.
That is very possible. Look, we don't know how old Bilaam is, but by the way, so it's possible he heard about the sea parting. It's possible that he heard about all these different miracles. It's possible he heard all the way about plagues happening in Egypt. Right? I mean, everyone knew about everything that was happening in Egypt because it was Egypt, right? That was the center of the universe. So it's possible that he heard plagues happening that he didn't put together, right? And he saw maybe the magicians fail in Egypt, which were, the magicians failed in Egypt? Like what? How did the magicians fail in Egypt? So it's possible that he had an appreciation for the power of God. Okay. So now it gets weird, and I mentioned this last night, but it's odd, and you don't tell it's God. You can't tell it's odd until you look at the nuance of this piece of text. So let's look at. I think we're at 19, aren't we? Oh, let's go back to 19. Let's go back to 19 and 20. Okay.
So you too stay here overnight and let me find out what else the Eternal may say to me.
Okay.
That night God came to Bilaam and said to him, if these envoys have come to invite you, you may go with them. But whatever I command you, that you shall do. When he rose in the morning, Bilaam saddled his ass and departed with the Moabite dignitaries.
Okay. So this is the problem. So this is where the commentaries say it's possible that the money or the influence or the power or all the things we've been talking about, by the way, suddenly influence him. And he starts to thinks to himself, wait a minute, maybe I can be a bigger deal here. I got the backing of the Moabites. I got the backing of the Midianites. Maybe so, because it says in 20, that night God came to Balaam. We know this is not weird because it's been happening, and they have chats all the time, right? And said to him, if these, I have men in my text, if these men have come to invite you, you may go with them, but whatever I command you, you shall do. Okay, which is not out of character, clearly, because, and Bilaam has been following this path up until now, so that's totally fine. But now the text changes. The way the nuance of the grammar changes, because now it says, when he arose in the morning, Balaam, by the way, when you wake up in the morning is a big thing in Jewish text. When you wake up in the morning, that means you reflected on something or something as big as something. It's not the same word. There's one word that's called vayashkem. Vayashkem is like the big word, but vayakom is also another word that when you, something about waking up in the morning in Jewish text changes the nuance of how you operate. It's like an interesting new. It's a light wart. It's like a. Yeah, it's like a light bulb or something clicks or connects. You wake up differently. It's a Jewish. What's like not the theme. There's like a. There's a word for it. So he woke up in the morning. He arose in the morning, and Balaam he saddled his ass and departed. And now it says with the Moabite dignitaries. And the with grammatically means with them. Not just with them, but like maybe more spiritually, physically, mentally on board with them. And he sort of surrenders his like strength, maybe his God's connection, his strength of himself, and he goes with them. And from that point on, if we were to read, you'll see that now he gets like washed around. He gets pushed around a lot more easily than he was at the beginning of the story, and we don't know what the influence was. But that's the Hebrew nuance that changes because he goes with them. And when God says you can go with them, God means like, go with them. But when he wakes up in the morning, he wakes up and he goes with them. He's like part of them. And that's where the nuance happens, and that's the issue, and that's the problem, and that's why we have this ongoing story of this weirdness that goes on now, which I want to take us to. So, which is over here. I think it's 22, 25, is that right? 22, 25, all right. Yes, okay. So he's supposed to go and curse the Israelites. Let's go to verse 25. We're still in chapter 22. Go to verse 25.
The ass, seeing the angel of the Eternal, pressed herself against the wall and squeezed Balaam's foot against the wall. So he beat her again.
Okay, so Bilaam is on a donkey, right? He's on a donkey, and he's on the way to do his mission because he is now with them. He is now with them, and he's on to do the mission, and that is to go to curse the Israelites. So he's on a mission. He's on a donkey, and so the donkey presses his foot against the wall. That's where we're at. Okay, please keep going.
Once more, the angel of the Eternal moved forward and stationed himself on a spot so narrow that there was no room to swerve right or left. When the ass now saw the angel of the Eternal, she lay down under Bilaam. And Bilaam was furious and beat the ass with his stick.
Okay, so God is now at play also because God doesn't want Bilaam to go and curse the Israelites. So there's an angel there, and as an angel talking to connecting to this donkey, and now it makes sense. He's going up like a steep wall, and the donkey has now pressed itself against the wall, and his leg is on the right. He's riding the donkey, so his leg hurts because the donkey is squeezing his leg, and he's upset. So he's hitting the donkey because he's like, "What are you doing, donkey? Go, go, go!" And then what happens in 28?
Then the Eternal opened the ass's mouth, and she said to Bilaam,
What just happened? What is she doing? It's Shrek. Thank you. It's the origin of Shrek. Yes.
"What have I done to you that you have beaten me these 3 times?"
Okay. So now there's Bilaam on the mountain by himself, clearly confused because he was so strong with God, and now he's like gone with them, and now this donkey's not moving. He doesn't know why it's not. And then the donkey that he's riding turns its head around and speaks and says the word to you, what have I done to you that you have beaten me these 3 times? Now, if I was Bilaam, how am I doing?
Heart attack.
I'm having a heart attack. Yeah, if I'm Bilaam, I'm a little bit confused, right? Yes. Exactly.
How come the donkey became she? I think that's very notable.
It was always a she. It was a she ass the whole time. It was a she ass the whole time.
You could tell in the Hebrew.
Yeah, no, it says in English too. We skipped it, but it's starting in like 2022. It says he was riding on a she ass.
We know that the Torah is very appreciative of the word.
Yes.
Why is it though to say it's a sheep?
Yeah. I think that's just the donkey. I mean, I think that's just the type of the donkey it is.
Always, I mean, the go-to is always the male.
Yeah.
In the, the way the text is written, it's always the male, unless there's a reason that it's a female. Maybe I'm just a little defensive.
So it's not just a donkey, it's a female.
Yeah.
I have an explanation.
Well, not too. It's like it just says it's just a she ass. It's possible that maybe the she asses are better at climbing the mountain there. I'm not sure. I'm not a donkey expert. I don't know. Donkey also not Donkey Kong. I'm not good at any of these donkey things. Yes, I'm nervous about what you're going to say, Harry, but we're going to see what happens anyway. All right. I'm nervous, but I'm ready to go. Is it? I'm still nervous. I'm nervous, but I'm going to. It's okay. It's okay. We're all amongst friends here. You even got Linda to turn around. So all right.
In my world, my wife is a she.
Yes.
Has a totally different perspective and very insightful of things I don't always see.
Yeah.
I think I hate saying it's a she because this is the power
Yes.
The donkey, had this perception of what was taking place and was following. I think what's really important is we're taught early on never to hit a woman.
Right.
He hits a woman 3 times.
Uh-huh.
I think the 3 is important. I think it's important that it's a she. So I think that it was an incredibly good question. And that's my perception of what I see there with it, because the donkey is representing what he doesn't see.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, okay, it's nice. It was nice. That was very nice. You got a gold star. You got a gold star. Yeah. Who's on the owl? Gail, go ahead.
Yeah, I was just going to bring up about the number 3.
Oh yeah, there's your number. You like 3. Yeah, that's right.
3, we always have a realization.
Yeah. Yep. 3 is a significant number. That's true. Yes. Okay. So let's keep going.
Bilaam said to the ass, "You have made a mockery of me. If I had a sword with me, I'd kill you." The ass said to Bilaam, "Look, I am the ass that you have been riding all along until this day. Have I been in the habit of doing thus to you?" And he answered, "No." Then the Eternal uncovered Balaam's eyes, and he saw the angel of the Eternal standing in the way, his drawn sword in his hand. Thereupon he bowed right down to the ground. The angel of the Eternal said to him, "Why have you beaten your ass these 3 times? It is I who came out as an adversary, for the errand is obnoxious to me. And when the ass saw me, she shied away because of me those 3 times. If she had not shied away from me, you are the one I should have killed, while sparing her." Bilaam said to the angel of the Eternal, "I erred because I did not know that you were standing in my way. If you still disapprove, I will turn back." But the angel of the Eternal said to Bilaam, "Go with those envoys, but you must say nothing except what I tell you." So Bilaam went on with Balaam's dignitaries.
Okay. So whatever loss he was, whatever sort of path he veered off of slightly, he's put back on. And that's why, ultimately, by the way, for our sake of time, he ends up standing on the mountaintop, and in lieu of cursing the Israelites, he blesses the Israelites. And so he finds himself, we find ourselves on chapter 24. So go to chapter 24. Chapter 24. So he finally gets up to the mountain. It all works. And, go ahead.
Now Balaam, seeing that it pleased the Eternal to bless Israel, did not, as on previous occasions, go in search of omens, but turned his face toward the wilderness. As Balaam looked up and saw Israel encamped tribe by tribe, the Spirit of God came upon him. Taking up his theme, he said,
You can read a little bit, just a little bit.
Word of,
Yeah,
word
yeah.
of one who hears God's speech, who beholds visions from the Almighty, prostrate, but with eyes unveiled. How fair are your tents, O Jacob, your dwellings, O Israel.
There you go. So, there are the words of Matovu. So it's actually the words of Matovu, the morning liturgy that we do every single day. And by I mean we, I mean Jewish people, all of the Jewish people, doesn't matter what denomination you are, Jews in the morning do Matovu every single morning, and they are the words of Bilaam, which is pretty fascinating. And they make morning liturgy, which is why this morning particularly, we sometimes we do we switch off in the morning, but we definitely did Matavu because the words come from this week's Torah portion. What's that? You can have Alexa wake you up with that. Now, Dr. Bob, yes. Yes. Indeed, I think that is a great lesson. That take your time, gather the facts before you just react, right? So, and clearly, because it's actually hard to dislike Bilaam. It's hard to dislike him. But it's interesting that this is why I think the Torah portion should be called Bilaam, because we go through a roller coaster with him. Because he seems so good and strong and connected, and then he gets lost. We don't know why. It's not clear, but maybe, like we said, maybe it's the money, maybe it's the power, maybe it's the glory, or whatever it was. But then he gets put back on his path. How does he get put back on his path? From a talking donkey, which, by the way, if you know Jewish text, we don't have very many talking donkeys in the Jewish text. This is the only one. This is it. This is the winner. Hence, and it's a woman. Yes. What's that? Oh yeah.
What do the Orthodox do with this passage? They just skip over it?
No, it's great. They love it. It's the same. We share it. It's all the same text. we don't change the text. I mean, the Reform movement does a lot of changes, but we don't change the Torah text. That's too much. But yeah, so it's in here. We'd like to in some parts, but no. Yes, Harry. Something that some Bob said earlier. Okay. Oh, good. Okay. Yeah. Oh, good. Yeah, good. Yeah. Yeah. God. No, God has to decide you're a prophet. No, they aren't prophets. No. A prophet is someone who speaks with God, who connects to God. What's that? Because he's not that kind of guy. He's not prophetic. He's not a seer. He's not prophetic in that way. And he's not. And our prophets are not like this. Our prophets are beat down. They're beat down people who try to raise up the community. I mean, Isaiah, Jeremiah, Ezekiel, it's a whole different kind of. The word prophet is we throw around because it sounds so lovely. To be a prophet would be so challenging, so difficult, because you spend your whole life telling people they're doing the wrong thing. You spend your whole life telling people every day, all day. That's what a prophet does. That's what prophets do in the text. They tell us all day what you're doing. I always joke, like, you don't want a prophet at your party, because when the prophet shows up, all they're going to do is be like, what, you're wasting your money on the outfit, on the shoes. I saw your car parked outside. Your house is too big. Why do you need all these extra things? You live so lavishly. Why are you doing that? Are you giving tzedakah? Are you giving tzedakah? Are you giving enough? You're not giving enough. How much are you giving? This is not the person you want at your party to walk in, right? Because that's what they would do, and they would push you at it over and over again. And so that's not what Bilaam is. He's not that kind of guy. Yeah. He's not that kind of guy. Yes.
Earlier you had questioned, why isn't this portion named Bilaam?
Yes.
He takes such a forefront in the story.
Yeah.
That in the Torah portions, and it's named by something in the first line.
Yes. Yes.
In this portion, Bilaam is the one that's named at the beginning of the portion.
Yes. So it's a great question. Why bring up the Bilaam? Why is the Torah portion called that? Yes. The easy answer is that all Torah portions come from the first couple of words of the Torah portion, of the words of the paragraph of the Torah portion. But also the structure of the text, right, comes from the Masoretes, because it's a Masoretic text, and the Masoretes maybe could have moved some stuff around. Like, why do it this way? But it's interesting. Now, the easy response is that we need Balak, right? We need Balak to get to Bilaam for the perpetuation of the story. So it's easy to call it Balak because he's ultimately he's ultimately the reason. So yeah, and what we're leaving out, by the way, and this is homework for you. So I'm sorry for the homework. Is the last part, is chapter 25, which we're not going to do. But if you want to be very frustrated tonight, this afternoon when you get home, while you're having a Shabbat lunch, maybe pour yourself a little bit of a nice little Shabbat pour of something, like a nice little something, a little schnapps or something. Sit down to have your Shabbat lunch, and then with your schnapps, look at chapter 25, because the sad part of the story is that Balak wins. So at the end of the story. So the plan works between Balak and the Midianites. So, but we're not gonna read it. I'm just gonna leave you on a cliffhanger for you to check tonight or today when you're sitting down for your lunch with your schnapps and enjoying it. The schnapps is necessary for the ending. That's why I'm saying it, because you need the schnapps. So, yes. Yeah, I would be confused. Well, I mean, I think probably if a donkey starts to talk to you, tells you that, right, that's something's going on, and then by the way, though, to clarify, so I feel like it's a brilliant moment because it's clear that I think, that works. Thank you. Yes.
Didn't we used to say that the donkey made an ass out of Bilam?
You could also say that. Yes, the donkey certainly made an ass out of Bilaam. That is for sure. Thank you. That is a perfect way to end. Thank you very much. Yes, excellent. So now, now we're going to hear a little Torah chanting. Yes, from the. You guys want the Zoom on for Torah and Misha Berach? We can leave it on. We'll leave it on. Sure. Just do me a favor, if you don't mind, on the Zoom, guys. If you just mute yourselves, if you don't mind, for the moment, so there's no weird reverberating for us. So you're going to be chanting from the beginning. Okay. So Robin's going to be chanting from the beginning of the Torah portion. 22:2. Anyone want to do the Aliyah for us? Okay, please, Fran, come on up. Oh, I'm going to have to remember that. Okay, Ta'amod, Fegadina, Bat. Meir Mordechai L'Aliyah Torah. There's a little switch. You got it? Okay, good. Come on up.
Baruch Hu et Adonai Hamvarach.
Baruch Adonai Borach Leolam Va'ed.
Baruch Adonai Hamvarach Leolam Va'ed. Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu Melech Haolam Asher Bochar Banu Mikol Hamim V'natan Lanu et Torato. Baruch Atah Adonai Noten HaTorah.
Amen. Vayar Balak ben Sipor eid. Kol asher asa Yisrael la'emori. Vayagar Moav mipnei ha'am. Me'od ki ravu. Vayakat Moav mipnei b'nei Yisrael. Vayomer Moav el ziknei Midian. Ata yilachachu hakahal et kol sevivotenu. Kol chok hashor et yerech hasadeh. Uvalach ben Sipor melech Moav ba'ed hahu.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher notan lanu Torah emet v'chayei olam nota b'tochenu. Baruch atah Adonai noten HaTorah.
Amen.
Yashikor.
With the Torah in front of us, we think of those in our community who are in need of healing, a physical, emotional, or spiritual healing. If there's someone that you're thinking of and you wish to share their name, please share their name at this time.
Yes. Marty Craig, London, Jolie, Gerard, Stu Fruman, Sandy Tankos, Ken Tankos, Lawrence May, Russell Tepper, all those affected by war in Ukraine, hate crimes and violence.
משבח אבותינו ואמותינו אברהם, יצחק ויעקב, שרה, רבקה, רחל ולאה, וברך את החולים. הקדוש ברוך הוא ימלא רחמים עליהם, להחלימם, לרפאותם, להחזיקם, ואשלח להם מהרה רפואה שלמה מן השמיים, רפואת הנפש ורפואת הגוף, השתה בגלה בזמן קריב, ונאמר Amen. May the one who blessed our ancestors, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, Sarah, Rebekah, Rachel, and Leah, bless and heal those who are ill. May the Blessed Holy One be filled with compassion for their health to be restored and their strength to be revived. May God swiftly send them a complete renewal of body and spirit, as together we say, Amen. We'll conclude our Torah service, 256, with Etz Chaim. What's that? Oh, yeah.
Eitz Chaim hi lemachazikim ba v'tomchecha meushar tiracheha darchei noam v'chol netivoteha shalom Hashivenu Adonai Elecha v'nashuva Chadesh Chadesh Yameinu Chadesh Yameinu Kekedem.
Quick announcements. This coming Thursday and the evening, we are doing our screening of Defending Your Life. So come and join us if you've not seen that movie. It's a really fun movie with Albert Brooks and Meryl Streep. It's really great. We're going to screen it here, and there'll be popcorn, and there'll be snacks, and all kinds of fun stuff. So come hang out with us. That's on Thursday night. The flyer's back there. I'm pretty sure, I don't remember the dates, but I know Rabbi Silvers is going to be doing a 3-part series on Jewish food. So if you want to go to a 3-part, learn a 3-part series with Rabbi Silvers, he'll be doing that. The dates are escaping me, but they're on the flyer. They're on the flyer and they're on the website for sure. And so we have this week we have the movie night, and then the following week we have blanket making. That's our last of the Thursdays in the month of July. If you, anyone listening or anyone here, 3rd, 4th, 5th, and 6th graders who want to participate in a fun youth program that's parallel to the Friday night service coming up this Friday, they should join us, because our brand new youth engagement professional, Annie Rosenthal, will be here, and she'll be doing some fun programs. I think it's live Angry Birds. If you know the game Angry Birds, so they're doing a live version. I don't know how they're going to do it. She bought slingshots, and she's going to, I think they're shooting foam balls at the little, I think they're building little houses, and then they're shooting foam balls at the houses, and to see if they can knock down the houses like in Angry Birds. I don't know. It's going to be awesome. So this is just, I'm sorry. Yeah, this is just for youth. I'm sorry. It's just for youth. I'm sorry. We'll come up with an adult version of using slingshots in the synagogue, but I don't know if we'll do that. What's that? I know it'd be fun, right? I don't know. It's good. I'm talking to anyone who wants to go. 3rd, 4th, or 5th, or 6th graders who want to do it. I know that's true. Israel trip. If you want to come to Israel, June 11th of 23. Please join us. I think, and there's some lots of other good flyers out there. Okay. Thank you so much, Robin, for hanging out with us, for the beautiful music and the chanting, and for being here with us. Thank you. We're going to begin to conclude with Aleinu and Kaddish, Aleinu 282, and together we stand.
עלינו לשבח לאדון הכל, לתת גדולה ליוצא בראשית, שלא עשנו כגויי הארצות, ולא שמנו כמשפחות האדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהם, וגורלנו ככל המונם. ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים, הקדוש ברוך הוא. ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ, ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד, ושמו אחד.
We transition our thoughts to Kaddish Yatom, to Mourner's Kaddish. We think in the period of Shiva, we think of Moshe, Zetri. In the period of Shloshim, the immediate 30-day mourning period, we think of Joan Katz and Dr. Stephen Jarecki. And our yortzahs that occur for us this week: Richard Barron, Barry Beloff, Trudy Berzon, Dennis Blyden, Josephine Dreher, Teddy Feder, Albert Furing, Lillian Gelfond, Gilbert Gurman, Barry Glick, Anita Hoffer, Esther Hoffman, John Iverson, Matthew Caston, Rose Katz, Ben Kestacher, Lillian Chrysler, Lillian Mayer, Ida Cohen Neville, Carol Sihos, Fred Richmond, Harold Richmond, Beverly Rosenbluth, Samuel Salem, and Silver Abraham Silverstein, Seal Spielvogel, Rose Kawa Stern, and Tanner Harold Weissman. To those names, we had any name you'd like to add at this time? Kaddish Yatom, Mourner's Kaddish, 294. Yitgadal v'ikadash merabah, B'alma divra chiruteh v'amlich malchuteh, b'chai echon v'yom echon v'chai dechol beit Yisrael, b'agala v'zman kariv v'imru Amen. Yehei shmei rabba mevorach leolam ulmei olmaya, yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitba'a v'yitromam v'yitnaseh, v'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal shmei dekudesha b'richu, le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata, tushbechata v'nechemata, דאמירן בעלמה ואמרו אמן. יהי שלמה רבה מן שמיה וחיים עלינו ועל כל ישראל ואמרו אמן. עושה שלום במרומיו, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל ואמרו אמן. May the one who creates harmony on high bring peace to us and to all Israel, as together we say amen. Please be seated.
Eloheinu.
And Keloheinu, 322.
Ein Keloheinu, ein Kadonenu, ein Kemalkeinu, ein Kemoshienu, Micheloheinu, Michadonenu, Michemalkeinu, Mikemoshienu, no del Eloheinu, no del Adonenu, no del Malkeinu, no del Moshienu, Baruch Eloheinu, Baruch Adonenu, Baruch Malkeinu, Baruch Moshienu, Atahu Eloheinu, Atahu Adonenu, Atahu Malkeinu, Atahu Moshienu. Adonai Oz Lamo Yiten, Adonai Baruch Tamo V'Shalom. May God give strength unto our people, continue to bless us with hope and strength and love and peace. Shabbat Shalom, everybody. Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom.